The last thing I want to talk about in regards to static lighting is its effect on movable objects within your scene. So I have our scene here for static lighting. We obviously have our directional light, such as static, and we have this light mass importance volume. So we've already built our level. So if you haven't done so, you need to make sure you build at least once. Once we've done that, what I want you to do is come over to the modes panel here under place, and we're going to go to basic and just scroll down to find a sphere. I'm going to left click and drag the sphere into my scene. Let me kind of pull it up a little bit. And I want you to take note of something. This is super subtle and can be a bit hard to see, but the first thing we notice is that we want to make sure to come over to our details panel here and set our object to movable. So this sphere is going to basically represent a character in our world, or an object that would move. I'm going to scroll this back over a little bit. And what I want you to notice and take note of is that as I move this object around, it's pretty subtle, but you'll notice it's a little bit whiter here, and as I move it back, it darkens just a bit. And if I move it behind the building, again, slight variations in tone and color are happening. So again, a little darker, a little brighter. And it's very subtle. It's not an actual shadow, but there is something happening. And you might be asking, well, what is this? So this is actually something we can visualize. So let's turn it on, then we can talk about it. If we come under Show here, inside of our viewport, and we're going to scroll down to Visualize, and at the very bottom of that list we're going to find an option called Volume Lighting Samples. So we're going to turn this on by clicking on it with our left mouse, and what you'll see is these small little squares. And what are these squares representing? Well, what they are data points of the specific color of the lighting and in that specific spot in the scene. So why is that useful? Well, as we have a dynamic object move around, it's going to take that sample and it's going to use it to help kind of illuminate this in a more proper way. So let's say that over here we had a red light and I move my character into it, he would start to get a little bit of an effect that makes him look a little bit more red overall. So again, this is super useful, and you should understand that this is being generated even at static levels of lighting. So again, we have a static light, this is here. The secret to it though is that these will only generate within a light mass importance volume. And then the next thing is that they will basically generate on the flat surfaces of your level. So you're not going to notice them on the wall specifically, but you can notice that our ceiling has started to generate a few of them, as well as the floor. Okay. So in static lighting, we're not going to get a shadow on any movable objects. Okay, we're going to get a little bit of an ambient occlusion here, a screen space, but that's about it. The only thing we're going to get in terms of lighting effects on movable objects with fully dynamic, or fully static, I should say, scenes is these indirect lighting caches or lighting volumes. So I hope that explains a little bit about some of the shadowing techniques that can happen with movable objects and static lighting.